second.
Gosh, it's been so long.
Good evening. Welcome to What's New. Tonight we have some lovely guests. We have an officer dude, in case we get really, but we have some wonderful people in Iris Vinson and Jean Henson, and I'm Mary Ann Roth, and Iris is going to introduce our guests and get our program started.
Okay, so who's going first, the ladies or the gentlemen?
Ladies first.
All right.
All right, okay, so first we have Dr. Terry Cavens, and she's going to give you some information about what she does in her art
Okay.
to help the animals.
Okay.
So,
Thanks, Iris.
You are welcome.
Looking this way, looking this
Just
way.
look at
We'll-
us.
Look at you
You
guys.
just
Okay, thanks.
You can look anywhere you want to. You
Okay.
can look, yeah, but usually up this way.
I'm chief of surgery at the hospital, but I have a passion for art, and I'm lucky enough to have people who do commission me to do their pet portraits. That tends to be my specialty, and the proceeds from my artwork go to help homeless animals. I'm a big proponent of spaying and neutering. We have 2 spay and neuter funds, one with the Forshey Valley Rescue and one with the St. John Animal Control. So you do have to qualify for those funds, but I think that I'm a firm believer that spaying and neutering is the #1 way we can end pet overpopulation. Because no matter how much money you have, you can never buy an animal a home. If somebody doesn't have space or time for an animal, it's better off not to breed. You know, we want to try to if everybody could spay and neuter their pets, you really wouldn't have an overpopulation. So I think that's really #1 for me. And the other thing is to adopt homeless pets, because there's always enough pets to go around. Any kind of breed you want is in a shelter. Any age you want of dog or cat, you're going to find that in a shelter. You don't have to go to a breeder. I know a lot of people are hypoallergenic. They have to have, a doodle dog. A lot of people adopt a dog. They think they're cute as puppies, and when they get in the teenager, like 6 months, 8 months old, and won't mind them for that few months, that's when they end up in the shelters, or they end up being a backyard dog. So any kind of breed you want, you can find in a shelter. So that's just a passion of mine, and I think we're very fortunate. We have animal control with Mike Barton. He does a lot to rehome animals, also to the lost pets. He's going to talk about that, but he's also got the spay and neuter fund. Dr. Tracy Anheuser is in Bloomsdale. She has a veterinary clinic there, and she's a founder of our new rescue in Bloomsdale, Forshey Valley Rescue. She also has a spay and neuter fund. So, I'm passionate about art, and I love doing it, and it's my way to help animals. So, I thank you for letting me be here.
Well, that's fine. You want to tell them your web address and where they can contact you?
Oh, absolutely.
To have your commissions done? And they are, I might say they are really, really nice. Very pretty art.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a studio on Main Street. 109 North Main is my studio. And my email is teresacavens@att.net. And I also have an Etsy shop, terrycavensart.etsy.com. So they can look at my art anytime on my Etsy shop, or they can email me for commissions. And I work from photographs. And on my Etsy shop, I do instruct on how to take photographs of your pet to obtain better quality painting.
So you're just an all-around gal.
Well, I hope so. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
We do our best.
For sure. Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to add how grateful I am for Mike Barton and Dr. Anheuser for what they do for dogs and cats and pets in our community. I can't thank them enough.
That's
So,
great.
Thank you.
Maybe you should get to the cats on Merchant Street. But I noticed the bowls weren't out the last couple of days. Somebody might have
Dr.
took
Anheuser
care of
does
that.
work with that a little bit behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so next we have Miss
That'll work.
Dr. Tracy Anheuser.
I'll take it however.
Whatever, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I am a veterinarian in Bloomsdale. We opened a practice there in August of 2016. And within probably 6 to 8 months, we had talked repeatedly about a need for animal care in this area as far as rescue care. I've done it from day one all the way through vet school and since every job I've ever had. And so we opened, we founded a Forche Valley Rescue. So it's a nonprofit. We started, I think, I guess it's been almost 2 years. So our goal is to help pets in the local community. So we're not going hours away. We're trying to stay here locally and help these animals here that are in need. So everything is volunteer basis. We do not have a facility. We would love, love, love to have property to build a facility and fundraise so that we can have a physical location. We have people that want to volunteer every day, but finding fosters is a difficult situation for us. So we take animals on case-by-case basis on the amount of people that we have available to foster. So short-term, sometimes I'll have a couple animals in my veterinary clinic, but it's only short-term. So the goal is for every animal to be in a home until we can find them their forever home. We are having a craft fair in Bloomsdale this Saturday to help benefit the rescue. We are going to have, and that's going to be at the Knights of Columbus Hall, and that's 175 Jersey Lane, and it will run from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we will have a table with information about the rescue. We will sell T-shirts. We'll have pictures of adoptable animals, lots of cute puppies. We will have adoption applications on hand, and any donations would be greatly appreciated. We're also going to have a bake sale, and I do make homemade jams and jellies and homemade spiced nuts if anybody wants to buy some. We will have a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. We're also getting getting a food truck as well. So we've got a company out of St. Louis. It's a BJ's Golicious Backyard Cube. And it looks like so far there's at least 30 crafters or vendors signed on for this.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
Including me.
Dr. Cavens will be there.
Your art there?
Yeah. And the vegan is, if we have
Oh, you're
extra time, I'll
vegan?
talk about
Yes.
veganism.
You should have mentioned that. I said you should have mentioned it.
Well,
Terry has a vegan book.
Yeah, and I'll have my two passions are animal welfare and plant-based eating. And I think they can both make the world a better place. But I will have my pink plate vegan recipe book at the craft fair.
Yay.
And some of my prints, my art prints there.
Well, great.
Good.
Good.
So what time does it start again?
8 a.m.
8?
Till 2 p.m. and it's
8
on
to 2.
Saturday. In the past it's been different days, but Saturday. So we're really excited.
So you have,
This Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
you have a lot of donated gift baskets and stuff?
I don't even know what all we have together yet. We've got donated dog statues. We have had people make quilts and all kinds of different things. So I don't know what all the girls have in mind,
Well, how
but
wonderful.
I've got volunteers behind the scenes that are doing a wonderful job.
Sounds like
Great
it's
that you got a lot of people to work with.
Isn't it amazing that we have a rescue?
It is.
I mean,
It is.
in our
Now
county-
all we need is some ground to build the building on.
We need a ground,
To house the little,
and we will
lovely
take
little doggies. I love doggies.
lots
Somebody
of
has a vacant house.
vacant house that we could do something
vacant
with,
building.
or some property that'd be somewhere near Bloomsdale for us, and then we can fundraise for to build it, because we can do it. We just need somewhere to get started.
Somewhere to call home.
That's right. That's right.
So how did you get interested in being a veterinary doctor?
I just always loved animals. So from day one, I've always loved animals. I went to undergrad, and initially I thought I was going to be a paralegal. I was going to be pre-law and pre-vet, and then I realized that was not for me. And so I took biology, animal sciences, and I loved it. And at the time I went and applied for vet school, it was 1 in 4 that got in. And so everybody that I was friends with were tracking to be veterinarians. And realistically, I was like, I'm not going to get in. I'm going to try once, and I'm going to get a job and move on. And I got in, so I went.
Oh, great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this year is
That's
20
good.
years.
Oh, my.
So, yeah. So I've lived in Illinois, and I've been in Missouri, I guess, with my husband now for, I moved here 8 years ago. So, yeah.
So where are you originally?
DuQuoin,
DuQuoin, Illinois?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. The fair place.
the fair place, and if you've heard of Straight Machine Nationals, if you're, you know, I'm just going to leave
sure
it
my
at
dad-
that. He knows. He knows.
No, I love Street Machine National.
It's come back.
It's okay right now.
Yep, so it's come back the last few years. I've got it back again. So.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a question of, we do have the rescue now and it's getting off the ground. Dr. Anheuser has founded it, but how does that, like, I know people look to Mike as a rescue and you really can't function as a
Well,
rescue.
we're really not a humane society.
Right, but
rescue.
I always
And that's
think
where the
it's-
confusion comes
Right,
in.
and that's why I was hoping,
And,
like you
yeah.
said, you're gonna kind of talk about,
A little bit.
Yeah.
What we can't, what our license allows us to do, what
Right.
we can't do. Humane society is really not part of our license.
Right.
So we'll talk about that here a
Yeah.
little bit.
but I just want people to know they work symbiotically, they work as a team, you
We
know?
do, but it's not, it's in a really cool way that
Right.
people really need to
It's-
sit down with us and ask us questions.
Right.
You know,
Okay. You want to tell them what made you want to be a doctor or surgeon?
Oh, a surgeon? Well, it's hard to explain, but I like to get up early, stand on my feet. I don't like a sit-down job. I like instant gratification, and I like to help people on the spot. And there's nothing more gratifying than someone who has a surgical problem, like they need their appendix out, or they have to have their gallbladder out, or they have a hernia that they need fixed, and boom, they're better. You know, and the way the surgical techniques have come, you know, it's amazing what we can do outpatient. I did specialize in breast cancer surgery, and there's a lot that we've just come, it's just a dynamic field. 95% of the people with breast cancer can expect to be cured. So that's just amazing. You know, ever since mammography came out in the 1960s, and we find things smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and now we have 3D mammography, which we can find it like a grain of salt.
Yeah, that
You
is
know, we have
amazing.
just come light years in treatment of breast cancer. So for me, being a surgeon, it's something that I can really do to help people. And it's amazing. And, you know, now that I'm getting into like nutrition, because with surgery, in order to heal properly, you have to have good nutrition. You can't smoke or you won't heal, you know, so all these things. And I've really gotten into being in the farming community and having the community garden at Bloomsdale and having our own garden at home, gotten into the plant-based eating and how much antioxidants and nutrition there are in plants. So that all ties into my surgical practice. So it's a
Now,
lot.
you have to be healthy to heal, that's for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. But there wouldn't have been any other specialty for me
Because they wouldn't have went fast enough.
I have to have that.
You gotta have the speed.
That instant gratification. You got it.
That's how I am too. I want things to move fast.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah. Okay, anything else, Dr. Tracy?
Just about the craft fair.
Please come to the craft fair. Come meet everybody. We've got pictures of beautiful puppies that are going to need homes next week. And, you know, if you're interested in volunteering or just stop by, we'd appreciate it. 8 to 2, Saturday in Bloomsdale.
And anybody that wants to foster, you know, I think we always think of young people as being fosters, but I think people that are older, that they don't necessarily want to adopt, but they can foster. And, you know, if they had to go live with a relative, or, you know, they got their living situation changed, they can always go back to the rescue. So it's not like they're obligated to that cat or dog. So I always encourage older people of what a pet can really bring into their life, as far as keeping them
Love,
active and that unconditional love, and just the whole routine of taking care of a pet. It keeps me sane. I know I got to do certain things at certain times, and I think it gives your life a structure. So I encourage older people to consider being fosters.
Yeah, I have a question there, the cost.
So-
As far as how do they help the person
So-
take care of it?
So as a foster, we provide food. If you need litter for a cat, we provide litter. If you need a kennel, we'll get a kennel for you. All the veterinary care for that pet is taken care of as a foster, while we're trying to find a home and socialize it to give it the best chance to have a forever life,
All
wherever
you
that
have
may
to
be.
do is love it.
Have to love it and keep it safe.
Yes.
That's
Might be
it.
available.
you'd be amazed what just being a foster parent would do for any animal, and it changes their demeanor. It's just, they go from being the low of lows to actually feeling like they belong. That's it. That's what we all want, and that's just such a beautiful gift to give an animal. And you know, it's just a great program. It's wonderful.
It
what
is.
you're
We
doing
were
there.
really happy to have the three of you
Yeah.
here to talk about the same subject,
Well,
which
and-
is wonderful.
And with the foster, like Dr. Anheuser's vision is for an all foster rescue, because as much as I love animals, I have gone to a facility and they're all in cages and they're
Yeah.
acting wild, and I'm like, I can't take this dog home. I'm a doctor. You know,
Yeah.
they're really not wild like that. That's just the
It's just
situation.
stressed out.
Yeah.
They're like people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like people, but they can't communicate like us. So it's really, you really got to
Right.
watch them close. To
And you're
find out how
not
they're
seeing
feeling.
the real animal. Where when
Right.
they're in a foster home, and say you're fostering, a 5-year-old dog, and the dog needs to come in and meet somebody at the rescue when we get the facility. We'll have a room. You'll bring the dog in, and the people that want to meet it'll be there. It'll be calm. It'll be
It's
looking at you
wonderful.
for leadership.
Right.
It'll be its own personality will come out, rather than standing in a cage and, like you said, you don't see the real dog or cat.
No.
You just don't.
My dog has run of the house.
Right. But they, like Mike said, then they have self-confidence.
Right.
I have a 19-year-old cat that runs my house.
Oh, my.
Oh,
You must be
she's-
taking good care of it.
She was an outside.
I mean,
cat.
That's phenomenal for a
That's-
cat.
yeah,
That's
She was
good.
an outside cat for the
Yeah.
first 11 years of her life, and my husband passed away, and I said, empty
brought him
house.
in.
Yeah, empty house, can't take it.
Wonderful companions.
Yeah.
My-
Animals
yeah.
really
Wonderful
nice.
companions.
My grandson and my son-in-law and daughter have three, well, one of them, my grandson has one rescue dog, and he's so cute.
they're
Yeah, little
grateful.
part beagle, and he's nosy,
Aw.
smelling all over everything. He's
Yeah.
so cute. And then the other one is part lab, and the other one they have was a little, was it terrier, some kind of little bitty one. And he learned how to climb the fence.
Because they're rotten.
And he jumped over the fence and he would run around the neighborhood. Well,
Escape artist.
one day he didn't make it back in. Oh, he'd come back in the yard then when he got tired.
Okay.
Crawl up the fence on the other side and come in. and that one day he didn't make it across the street fast enough and he got hit by a car. Yeah. That was so sad because he was so cute.
Well, they're
My
family members.
granddaughter
Yeah.
has 3 cats, all well cared for, all spayed, neutered. I think they're all males. And recently they adopted from a foster home a greyhound, a 5-year-old greyhound.
That's what I mean. Any
It's about-
breed is available. Any type,
Oh,
age,
and
breed.
he
you can
is,
find.
oh,
Yeah,
Henry's
dogs are
adorable.
so sweet.
And there are very few bad ones in any kind of kennel environment or a rescue. They're all,
Yes.
we work with them to get them new homes is what we do. She does the same thing. Miss Cavens helps us out with that. It's amazing. It's fun.
I guess we should introduce the gentleman who is talking. Probably a lot of you out there know him. He's David Barton, and he's our
Mike.
Michael David.
Yeah,
They-
Mike.
This goes back years
It goes
because of
back
school.
generations.
so,
My
yeah.
brain.
All right, so
know.
you knew what you were talking
There were
about.
so
Yeah.
many Michaels. We had to change it to David.
Can we
Then
just call you
then
Dave?
when the other schools changed from 8th grade to Valley, we went from David back to Michael.
Identity crisis.
Oh,
But it all worked
sorry,
out.
It's the same
it's
gentleman.
Michael,
So,
and
at least
he
you say
is our
something.
rescue.
Huh?
What
You,
is your
you run the.
Yes, I'm currently assigned to the St. Genevieve County Animal Control Rescue Unit, Animal Control, and it's really what I love to do. I really look forward to coming in. It's very gratifying. I'm very fortunate to have the position I'm in at the Sheriff's Department. Very thankful.
And you have a nice place for them too also.
Very nice.
Yes.
Wish everyone come see it, but it's hard to get everybody in there when I'm there to show them what our facility is and how it looks. And really recommend everybody come see what we do and what we have and how we work with our animals.
Do you use volunteers or anything like that?
The volunteer is difficult. I have to be there because I'm the only one that answer calls for service for animals. Most of the time, if I have to leave, volunteers have to leave and wait until I get back, and the logistics of it right now is not real good. That's something we're working on. Hopefully in the future we'll have full-time volunteers that can come in and work better with the animals. I do walk the animals. I do pet them. We play with them inside the kennel when I'm there. So they get attention. It's just maybe not like I want to right now, but that's going
Not
to
as
get
much
changed. It'll get
one-on-one,
fixed.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you can tell us all about your job and how you work with Dr. Tracy and
And what your
Mhm.
needs are.
My job is to rehome strays in St. Genevieve County. My job is to investigate animal complaints of possible abuse and neglect. We use Miss Anheuser, we use Doc Follert, and we also use Dr. White. Dr. White is kind of, I hate to say it, but because he's in the city and I do most of my stuff in the county, these guys are closer, so they get most of my work, and that's unintentional. But Dr. White has helped us. He's been real good to us. Dr. Follert has, and Miss Anheuser especially. We're working on something now we hope has a very good ending. A very serious abuse case that she really helped us out with. It was on a holiday. We called Miss Anheuser. She came in and took care of the problem with us, and hopefully we get a conviction. We're praying we do. So we'll see how that goes. You mentioned the cats downtown.
Not
I
me,
did.
she did.
Okay,
I
somebody
didn't.
did earlier.
I just probably pick them up, take them home.
We will help with that, but we have to be real careful because the people involved in that have their own license from the Department of Ag. It's a trap and release license, so we're going to help, but we have to be real careful what we do. Trying to work with them to get them back their cats. So
because there is.
because of
someone
their
that takes
license
care
allows
of
them to do
yes,
that.
yeah.
So only thing I can say is if anybody has any complaints about what's going on in downtown, they have to call the Department of Ag and express their
Well,
concerns.
they haven't been in sight in the last couple of days and the bulls aren't out, so they might have found another place
Hopefully,
or
that'd be good.
something, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Laura does a really good job with.
Yeah, she does.
very
She's a wonderful
dedicated.
person, very
Yeah,
caring.
she's very
Yeah.
dedicated to
Yeah.
making sure they're fed. So,
I love animals.
And sometime back, not too long back, I don't know where I picked it up, that you were in need of towels, sheets,
Mhm.
old bedclothes and
The
things.
things we need at the kennel are food, bedding, and litter. We use a lot of litter. That's our goal. That cleans everything. That's awesome stuff. We will not turn down a donation. So anybody wants to donate, they can drop it off at the sheriff's office in the lobby for the secretaries, or they can contact me and I'll come pick it up at their residence or their place of business. It's not a problem.
You mean like old quilts or new quilts or
Anything,
whatever?
anything. The
Don't
older
kids-
stuff will be better because then you're not giving up your new cleans, your
Yeah.
what I call
Right.
it, usable things.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of making, if somebody wanted to make them,
Sure, absolutely.
because I've made some for my son's dog.
Yeah, we'll take them.
That they
Yeah,
like.
that's nice.
Just out of
That's
old
really
fabric like
nice. Yeah,
polyester
sure.
and stuff like that, and when it gets dirty, he can wash it or pitch it, it doesn't matter.
But how
'Cause
is
it's
that
on
made?
me.
I
I just make it like a quilt, and only I do it all on the machine. Just sew around the edges. and-
That's really nice.
Yeah.
They love
Sounds
stuff
like a
like
bunch
that.
of polyester and stuff.
Yeah, and that makes really good ones because their body heat comes back up with the polyester, especially in the wintertime. Their body heat comes back up and they stay warmer. They like to lay on them on the like tile floors and outside on concrete and stuff when it's cold out or chilly out.
Our facility is an HVAC, which means it has heating and air conditioning. So, but we still use the towels and blankets because in the wintertime, doesn't matter how much you heat a building, it's going to find cold. Cold's going to find its way in. So we do need bedding, especially during the wintertime. In the summer, depends. Some will use them, some will get hot, we have to pull it out. It all depends on the individual dog and what it is. The coat especially. If it's a thin coat, thick coat, medium coat, and it all depends on how we do that. So basically, my job is I take care of the entire county.
That's a big area.
Big area.
A really big area.
Big area. And my job is to pick up strays and get them new families, and that's what I love to do. It's a great satisfaction for me to return a loved animal back to their family or find a new home for it. And of course, we do help with livestock complaints. Wildlife, not so much. We leave that to the conservation department.
Yeah.
That's their specialty. That's about it. So,
What percentage of your dogs are just lost and found? Or versus you have to find home?
return the owner rate last year was about 85%.
Boy, that's
Everybody did a
great.
real good job of
Yeah.
coming back and picking them up.
That's
They
wonderful.
just decide to leave for a while and go.
And take
Yeah.
vacation.
And don't know how to get
Adoption
back.
rate
Yeah.
was about 12%, which was, I thought, decent considering all the return to owners we had. That really. We did have some severe abuse case that we're dealing with. And there, unfortunately, there's gonna be times when we just simply can't save a stray. And that's up to the vets.
Yeah. That happens.
People can make their own conclusion out of that. That's the way it is.
You have to do the kindest thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll keep my eye on my cat. She,
You don't want Mike to get hold of your cat.
I mean, well, I might he did because I took care of her. But I have a deck on the front end of my trailer, and she learned how to squeeze underneath the fence. There's kind of like a fencing around
Mhm.
it. Squeeze under, and she wouldn't go far, and she'd come back and come to the front door when she wanted in. But then I fixed it where she can't get out at all, and she's not a happy camper.
Well, you know, saying something like that, I mean, I think people talk about microchipping a lot, but I think a tag,
It would
can
be
save
really,
you
really great if
if
people.
everybody had tags.
Tags
Yes,
with
Yes,
the, with the
that'd
You know,
be a
dog's
with
great
your
thing.
name
So
and the
much
phone
easier.
number.
Now, we have found that when we return some animals, their collars and tags were missing. The only thing we can figure is when an animal is running loose and they run
They
through
lose,
brush and
break
thunder
it,
fence and
yeah.
stuff, it just snags and takes them off their necks. Microchip would be the absolute best thing in my opinion. Dr. Anheuser may want to comment on that.
Well, I agree, but then you also have to get it registered.
Right.
So don't
Yes.
just get the chip and not get it registered to you and keep your contact information up to date. And if you have extra money and you have a dog that runs, they actually make GPS collars. So
They
you can
make
tra-
you what?
GPS collars, so you
Oh,
can track the
yeah.
dog down.
Yeah, a lot of the hunters and outdoors people who hike or go to parks or whatever and let their dogs run will use those collars. and they
Or
work
hunt
great.
away from, in
Yeah,
a
they know
different
exactly
state
where
or
they're at at all
whatever.
times. It's perfect. It's a great thing.
It is.
I know, we had a beagle that was a very good hunter, but he started tracking a deer. He was gone for like 3 or 4 days,
Mhm.
almost a week.
Yeah.
And somebody found him and one of the guys recognized, oh, that's Vincent's dog. And so we got it back, yeah.
There's one thing
Yeah.
I personally have a gripe with. I see this, I'm on Facebook, of course, and I see this poor little puppy is about this big, sitting there with chain on him with links like that. At one time, I had 13 hound dogs in my backyard, and no fencing to put around them, and I had them on chains. I had, let's see, there were
There are some, there are actually some societies that can help people keep their dogs off chains. They'll actually come to your house and build a fence if you
Well,
can't
they would have had
afford.
to covered my whole yard, but
Right.
I only had 2 acres.
Right,
But
but-
they were fed and watered and cared for, and their house was warmer than mine. I'll say it that way. I mean, we made sure they had a lot of straw. One of my females had a litter of 6 pups in the middle of winter, and they all just come right through. It was fine, because they were kept warm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think, you know, it's a hard thing to say, but a lot of people don't want to see dogs on chains. And a lot of
No.
cities have ordinances that you cannot have a chained dog. We don't have that here.
And a lot of them
I'm not
have-
sure what the city has on ordinances.
Yeah.
The only, I do know that there is legislation that may change a lot of what cities do with their ordinances. I know there's a breed ordinance coming out where that cities can't tell people what they can and can't own.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Breeds a specific
Rottweiler, pit
legislation.
bulls, stuff like that, that's all gonna change. I'm not sure what St. Genevieve City has for an ordinance on chains.
You don't ever see
I
dogs
don't-
on chains here, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
You really don't.
Not as
There's a
much as
few
they
in the
do.
city that I've seen, but the chains have been,
Temporary or
they're
just,
Yeah,
temporary and it's
temporary.
not so heavy that the dog's being,
Yeah.
being,
Yeah. My-
being-
mine
Mine
You don't
is a
have to put
real
it-
thin one, and I
Yeah.
have to put him out
Yeah.
on a leash when he goes outside, because I've lost 2 dogs on Market Street with cars like this.
Yeah.
but you don't leave them there like 24/7.
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
oh gosh, no.
The only thing I would suggest, if you've got a small dog though, and you put it out on the tie-out, you probably want to keep an eye out, because the only bad thing is if a big dog is running loose, you
Yes,
can't get
my
away.
dog's only about
Yes.
this tall.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not.
They're
Yeah,
not-
keep an eye on it.
Right, my
And
son
then-
was
That-
down today from St. Louis, and he's got a Labradoodle, and he went down the street to one of the guys that he went to school with, and the people next door have, I don't even know what kind of dog it is, I always thought it was a pit bull, but he said no. Anyway, he got close over there, and that dog didn't like it, and he bit him in the rear and chased him all the way down the.
Oh,
And poor Cooper loves dogs. He's in a doggy daycare, so he's friends with all the dogs.
he doesn't know any different.
He wasn't
And
quite sure what to do.
He wanted to be sure. He
Yeah.
wanted to be friends with that dog, and that dog didn't want to. And David said he got bit right in the butt.
Aw.
He said. And he said Cooper came over and put his arms around his leg and his head up against him and just buried himself in him. He was so scared. Poor
So I guess-
puppy.
So I
Yeah.
guess getting back to the whole chain thing, if you
Yeah.
guys, if anyone sees something they think is abnormal, a chain's too big for a type of dog,
Yeah.
call us. We'll go in and talk to the owners of it.
Because
and
some
try to
people
figure
might
it
not
out.
understand.
Just
the-
Not so
how
much, it's
heavy that-
education and trying to help, you know?
Yeah, how heavy a
If there's something
chain
I have the
is.
kennel can help someone, I'd rather do that than send them through the court system, because a lot of times it's just education, worried about the dog getting loose. It's not necessarily, you don't
Yes.
have to put a chain link fence this size on a
Yeah,
dog this
yeah.
size. And
My
that's
chain's-
basically
Right.
what.
Yeah.
Not even that big.
Right,
Mine's
cables
real
are
lean.
No,
best.
it doesn't,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
A cable on the swivel.
I
Yeah.
mean, am
No, I
I
agree.
pretty close to that, or?
I
I
think,
agree.
I think there's just a couple of themes that I'm hearing here. The spay and neuter,
Yes.
the call Mike if there's any question.
Absolutely.
If there's any.
Come see us.
Or, if you have a question that you think someone's being neglected or abused,
Mhm.
call animal control. If you need to adopt a dog, we have a rescue now, and right here local, dogs in need,
That's going to really be
And-
nice.
yeah.
I
And
hope
another
you
thing I
find
want
it
to
good.
touch up on, especially now, I talked to a barge captain today, and if what he says is going to happen, it's going to be pretty frightful for us. So we have a plan in place to help people in need. Exigent circumstances, especially natural disasters, floods, windstorms, tornadoes, anything we can help with. If we need to hold a dog temporarily to deal with the death of a family member, somebody, not so much going on vacation, that don't qualify,
No.
but someone's in the hospital and need help with the dog, anything like that, I think is an extenuant circumstance, we will be more than happy to accommodate those
That'd be
folks.
wonderful.
That's really good.
So-
Well, that's
we
a
have
good
a
service
facilities
for
and
the
we have-
community, yeah.
Right, we have the place to do it, and if we have to set up something, we will, to help people. So keep that in mind, if you need us, call us, please, that's what we're here for.
And if you're in doubt, call.
Yes.
Exactly. Sometimes you may not like what I have to say, but you never know. Most of the time, we want to help. That's what we're here for, to help.
And if you can't get them on the phone, just go to the sheriff's department.
The best way to call me is to call dispatch at 883-5215. That's 883-5215. If I'm working, they'll get a hold of me, and it'll be pretty quick phone call back.
521,
5215.
Yeah.
And just remind everybody to come to the craft fair on Saturday to benefit
Yeah.
the,
oh,
And
yeah.
that's at the
The dogs,
Bloomsdale
yeah.
KC Hall.
Yep. And we'll have
8
pictures.
to 12,
I
8 to
just-
2, not
We're gonna
12
have
to.
a barbecue food truck. We'll have
Oh.
all- That's what I'm
You're
saying.
gonna have donuts in the morning?
We're gonna have a table with baked goods.
Oh, there's baked
Oh,
goods, so
that-
there you
that's
go
right
for
there.
breakfast and stay for lunch.
We've got
That's the
volunteers
first table
making
I go
baked goods
for.
for me.
Oh, how wonderful.
Homemade.
And then I'll have jams and jellies and cinnamon spice nuts.
You make the jams and the jellies?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're a worker.
I made, strawberry rhubarb, blueberry mojito, bananas foster butter, Dutch apple, and strawberry marmalade this year.
Oh, my gosh.
I like
Wow.
to can. Not tons of it, so you might want to come early. But I got
Have
some
to
of
come and
everything.
grab it up. Get there at 8 o'clock.
And it's vegan.
That's exactly
That's
right.
vegan.
So there's, so Terry can have it.
That barbecue truck is vegan?
Oh, no. No. No, so I think they've
I
got,
tried to get them to get a vegan one. And I think they
Well,
were tired
I
of it.
understand I think the
You
Whopper,
have
They
to
did.
bring your walk along, your,
the Whopper,
Well,
I think, is a vegan.
is
The
that what you-
Impossible
okay.
Burger. Uh-huh.
and cook up.
It's catching on.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
I would try it.
Yeah.
And before we go, I want to thank everybody who's donated. I don't know a lot of people who do. Some I do know who donate. Thank you everyone for that, and especially our 3 vets. They've been with us since day one. They've helped us in the kennel. They've helped us in court, and it's really been a godsend to have their professionalism on
Well,
our
that's
side.
great, yeah.
It is. It really is. It's a blessing. We've been so blessed to work in this community. So many good people.
Oh, yes.
St. John's got a lot of good people.
Good people.
Yes.
You know, you read the Herald, for those who do, you see that blotter stuff. That's less than 5% of our community.
Yeah.
95% of this community is just good, hardworking, loving people, and we benefit from it. I can't thank them enough. It's just great to be here.
I couldn't agree more, and I think people just need to be aware of what services we do offer
Mhm.
as far as animal controls. We have spay and neuter funds, we have adoption, and I think that it's just an awareness. And we raise that awareness by you allowing us to be here. So
Well,
I
hopefully,
really,
we got lots of people watching
Yeah,
this.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate.
And we do go out on YouTube too. So
Right.
you can tell your friends to Google St. John TV, YouTube. And then there's a menu at the top, and if they click on it, then everything that happens in the city is going to be on
Sure.
it. And there's What's New is on there.
Yes.
So they just click that and they can watch previous shows all the way back, I think, till when we first started several
Great.
years ago, up until present day.
What, 7 years we've been?
Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Was it
it's 7 or 8.
8 when we started? I don't remember when we started.
It's
Oh,
been a
yeah,
long
been here.
time.
We'll have to look and see how many years we've been here. We used to know, but we've forgotten.
I can't thank you enough for having us.
All I can say
Well,
is-
we appreciate anybody that wants to come on the show because we always strive to have something unique and informing the community and anybody that watches it
Very
on
much.
YouTube, what we have in our city, in our
And
county.
it's a best kept secret.
It
St.
is,
Genevieve.
St. Genevieve's,
I
yes,
can't
it
agree
is.
more.
It is.
A lot of people don't know that there's so many things
They
around.
hear about us, but they're not here long enough to experience it, and that's the sad part. They come and
That's-
visit, then they have to go back home.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've got so many people who've Googled a good place to live, a quiet place to live, what's the artsy town, and all that, and they find us, and then they move here.
Well, I
It's
mean, We're so
amazing.
lucky because we have the wonderful police force, the school system, the medical care, and plus, anything we don't have is an hour away.
Right.
You just
And
can't.
it's a nice quiet town, good
Right.
place to raise kids.
Good place to be old in.
You know, it's really
Yeah, it's a good
cool.
place to be old in too, that's right.
It's really, we're really blessed to have the school systems that we have.
We are, we have
Bloomfield,
two wonderful school
Yes.
systems.
St. John Valley, it's just, you
And
can't.
the outlying schools.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
St.
little
Giselle and
schools that are out around.
Just so wonderful to have
Good
those people
teachers.
mentoring our kids. You can't say enough about that either. So
And-
great to have that.
And the
A
teachers.
lot of
are
communities
s-
don't have it. They
Right.
don't. They
That's
don't
right.
exist.
And you
And we
know
have-
something else, the churches get along.
Mm-hmm.
They all get along. I mean, I know, I blend in with several. And, it just, I've been other places, so this is different.
That's good.
This is really different.
Well,
Everybody's at
thank you,
home.
ladies.
Thank you,
Well,
ladies.
you are
It's
welcome. We
been a great
appreciate all
evening.
of you coming.
You just
It
keep
was
talking, we're
nice.
listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully, do you have any questions
Nice.
for any of the three of us before we leave? Any specifically that maybe we thought we may have missed?
You?
They're turning, we see it.
So I think, just anybody that wants to be a foster for a cat or a dog, please
Yes.
contact Fauché Valley Rescue.
Do you have a phone number?
573-702-9112. We are also on Facebook, and I don't remember our website. I'm sorry. My
Forshey
daughter-in-law
Valley.
runs it all.
Yeah, it's Forshey, Fourche, Forshey Valley. And if you just Google that.
And if you can't remember that name, isn't there a creek with that name also?
Absolutely.
So you can Google the creek. Know how to spell it.
Well, and the other thing I forgot to tell you, we do have a program with donations right now. So if you're in St. John County and you have a feral or a stray cat that you feed and it's not altered, if you can catch it and arrange with us, we can get it spayed or neutered and notch the ear, and you can put it back out.
Oh, we
And
got
that's-
lots of cats.
And that's free of charge. We have some funds set. I think we've got like $500 still set aside for that. Not counting the spay and neuter fund that is so graciously provided by Terry. And we have people that just provide proof of financial hardship. So food stamps, Social Security, disability. For cats, it's a $10 copay. For dogs, it's $15. We're not restricting the area. And it's with Dr. Fallert, Dr. White, and myself. And we just have to have it arranged. And so
That's
we're
great.
trying
That's
really hard.
wonderful, yes.
And that all comes from my artwork, from people that sometimes they memorialize their pet, or sometimes they just want a picture of their pet for me to paint, or their children and their pets. So it's not just pets. That tends to be what I focus on. So,
You do dogs, horses very well, too.
oh, thanks.
And donkeys.
Beautiful horses.
That's another place that, I mean, I haven't seen in this county, but I have seen where where leggy animals, the horses, the donkeys and things, are mistreated in some places. And if you
Usually
see
not
that-
enough food.
They're
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but it's not as concentrated as it is in other areas.
Uh-huh.
We do have issues with livestock, and we do address those issues. It's just, thankfully, we're blessed in that, again, it goes back to what we talked about a few minutes ago, the 95%ers we have here that are good, loving people, and they actually take care of their livestock, so.
Yeah, I know.
It does help.
I know a
It's
donkey
great.
loves cookies. We have him at our Christmas, live Christmas display every year at the church, Presbyterian.
You think those cookies are good for that donkey?
He must- yeah, as long as you feed him cookies, he stays there.
Not as good as they
You
are.
got donkey cookies?
I don't know, that's up to his parents.
Well, they say you're not supposed to feed dogs ice cream, but mine has, he and I have ice cream every night. He's spoiled.
Aw.
But I would, if I ever lose him, I would like to replace him.
Well, I'm that way with Buzz. I mean, I've had her so many
Because he's
years
13
now.
years old.
Well, I'll tell you, if we
But,
get things going the way I want, my hope would be that long-term, we'd be able to do something for seniors so that they wouldn't have to worry about things happening too.
Mhm.
You know, where they'd be able to
Yeah.
have a pet, and if something
Yeah.
happened, know that if nobody else could take care of it, we could take it back. That's my long-term
Oh,
goal.
Lisa's already.
Because
that's her
people worry.
sister.
Right, it
Yeah.
is.
My daughter calls the cat sister.
Nothing wrong with that.
But,
So if anybody out there listening has any questions, the number's up on the screen. You can call, and one of the three will answer your question.
personally, how about that?
Yes, personal contact. Or if you have any comments you want to make, or if you want to make a donation, you can call in and talk to Dr. Tracy, and she'll be happy to get back in contact with you if you leave your number or your name. So anyway, anybody else got anything to talk about?
I think we about covered
Just-
it.
I invite everybody to call and come up and see me. That's we're here to help, and we want to show people that what we do.
Yeah.
And you do take donations like for old, if people have old blankets or old quilts or something that
Mm-hmm.
you
Where
take
do they
donations.
take them to, Officer Barton?
They can call me. I can come pick them up at the residence or business, or if you're in town, if you like dropping them off, just take them to the lobby of the sheriff's office, and
Okay,
they'll get them
yeah.
to me that way too.
Good.
Good, yeah.
Well, I was going to give a lot of fabric away, but I'll just
Yeah,
sew it up
just
and
zip
make
you up
little
some of
doggy
that.
blankets.
Yeah,
doggy blanket.
Now, on the litter thing, you don't need the fancy litters, you just them big old
No,
bags of litter.
we're not asking people to go spend hundreds of dollars on material. Just whatever you want to donate is fine. We don't need all the fancy stuff. It has to
You use that litter
What
to clean the floor too with, don't you?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Not just for the kitties to,
Mhm.
do you have any kitties?
Not right now,
Okay.
thank God.
It's kitten season though, there'll be a
It's
lot
get, we're
of
gonna have
kitties.
kittens soon.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Many years ago, we had a stray cat come to our house that was expecting, and it was freezing cold outside. And she was huddling up on our wood pile out on the back porch. And we felt sorry for her, so we let her stay in our garage. Well, unbeknownst, she had these kittens towards spring, so I guess she would probably, how long does it take for cats?
62 to 65 days.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it's
Pardon?
About 2 months.
Two
About
months
2
all
months.
it takes, yeah.
Just a dog.
So it
they're
was-
about
yeah.
About
close.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dogs
so
and
she had the little kitties in our cabinet in the garage.
Aw.
And they were so cute. And we watched them, I filmed them. She taught them how to hunt, how to sneak up, she'd get down real low and teach them how to get down real low to watch for whatever in the grass. She just taught them little kitties so much. It was so cute. But she would get really aggravated when we go get the cats and bring them out. We got a little place where it's safe for them to walk around when they're little bitty and they won't go anywhere. She wouldn't like that. We'd put them out there and she'd come get them by the neck and take them back in. And then we kept doing it, and finally, I guess she just gave up. She didn't fuss anymore. She just laid out there and watched them.
Probably got too heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I know when,
Yeah, but they were that was really cute.
when Buzz's mama came to the house, a stray, and she stayed. We lived out in the country, out next to Mark Twain Forest, so, and so we fed her and let her go in the shed and like that. Well, she had the kittens, and come find out she was only about 6 months old when she had those kittens. That gives you an idea when cats can breathe.
Right.
That's 5
That's-
months.
And, yeah.
We fight that in the kennel sometimes, you have to keep them the same age, make sure they're separated at certain times, and it's fun with cats.
So she had,
They're almost like rabbits, huh?
yeah.
Pretty close.
She had, let's see, 2 kittens. One was a calico, white calico female. The other was Fuzz, which has gray hair about like this. And Fuzz was only, she was about this big, just had her eyes open and everything. And then he said, well, she had her somewhere on some rocks. Let's build her a nice home and hut, let's put her and the kittens. So she was all right with it. But when he went to reach for Fuzz, Fuzz laid on her back and went, he just got the biggest tickle. And she turned out to be the most easygoing animal you want to have around. But I had them, as soon as the kittens were a few weeks old, I had her fixed. And then at 3 months, I had the kittens fixed.
That's awesome.
And that's what we want everybody
That's
to
what we
do.
want to have. That would be the ideal.
So that's a
That'd be a
perfect
perfect
example.
world.
They were
My
outside
dogs will
cats.
take care of it.
And mine wasn't very good then because we let those kittens stay till they were pretty big. And Dave says, I'm gonna take them out to the farm. There's plenty of mice out there. They'll survive out there good. So he puts them in the cage and starts for the farm. He gets uptown. One of them, they figured out how to get the cage open. One of them jumped out. Then he went a little further, hooked the cage up, went a little further. Another one jumped out. There was 4 of them altogether. So by the time he got at Napa, there was 1 cat left. And that poor little thing, he was a male and he was so ugly. Oh, God. He wouldn't clean himself, wouldn't take care of himself. He went and hid under the truck. So Dave felt sorry for him and brought him back home.
Well, I just say if anybody does decide to make a farm cat, I would highly recommend spay and neuter first.
Well,
Oh,
a number of
yes.
reasons is for that, and that's common
Mm-hmm.
sense stuff also because it'll help them with their health in the long term too.
Right. And we don't say spay and neuter just because of population control, but that's number 1. But for the males, it decreases the risk of rectal cancers. And
Oh,
for the
okay.
females, it decreases the risk of not only female cancer, but breast cancer.
Oh, my goodness.
So your dog and cat will actually live longer. you know, you might say, well, I don't need to spay and neuter my dog or cat because they're never around another animal.
Uh-huh.
But they will actually live longer
Oh
and have
my gosh, I
healthier
didn't know
lives.
that.
Yeah,
Because we had 3 dogs die from cancer.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a female dog, if you have a female dog spayed before her first heat, her risk of breast cancer is 99% less likely.
Oh
If you
my
have her
word.
spayed before her second heat, it's 80% less likely. If you end up with a kitty that, if you spay them real early, it's very, very good for them, because if they get breast cancer, it's usually bad in a cat.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes,
my
it is.
goodness.
The other thing is that they can get uterine infections. It's called a pyometra.
Uh-huh.
And so what happens is as they get older, if they don't cycle as regular, especially with the dogs, they can get a buildup of fluid which can turn to pus
Oh my
inside,
gosh.
and it can cause kidney failure, and they can die if it's not treated in time.
Oh, for Pete's
So
sake.
it's always best if you're not going to breed, to spay or neuter. And honestly, even if you did breed the dog and you had a specific reason to, fix them after.
I had
Oh,
several
my
people
word.
say, oh, why didn't you let them have a litter of kitties first? I said, why? Well,
Because
that's
there's
good, Marge.
millions of kitties that need homes.
No, but they were talking about the cat, the critter itself. And, oh, that's good for him. I said, no, it isn't.
You're
No,
exactly
and
right.
it's like Ms. Caven said, it's just more we have to find homes for, and it's really not good for their health to let's keep.
Well, even if I
It's
kept the
not.
kittens,
It's just
it
more
would
than
not
stopping
be
the population. It's about the
health-wise.
animal's health.
Well, and you don't want inbreeding either in a
Right.
No.
population, because those kittens are not, they're not healthy.
And I think maybe people don't understand that 4 million dogs and cats a year are put to sleep in the United States
Oh my
because they
gosh.
cannot find homes.
Really?
4 million.
Yeah.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
knew that. I
Oh,
never
my
heard that
land.
before.
I didn't know the exact.
So
but know
I-
it was
It
big.
Any-
goes back to spay and neuter. That's why we have
That's
the 4
why we
million.
want to spay and neuter. And that, you know, I would really say if you need to breed a dog, ask yourself why. Or
Yes.
cat. Because there's so many that need homes. And I just think it's an awareness thing. Maybe people don't know that there's some available. But there really are.
Mhm.
That is an awful lot.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
improved a
That-
lot.
And
It's getting better.
It's improved.
But it's still a problem area, and a lot of that's a problem with strays too. You know, if they would just spay neuter their pet beforehand, we wouldn't have this problem we're having trying to find animals homes.
And if it's an outdoor cat and it comes around and you keep feeding it, it's your cat.
Gonna stay.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
your cat.
legally,
The
you
law-
can't even own a cat.
you know.
That's for sure.
Courts,
Well-
no, through the courts. There was some lady up, I think in New York or something, a few years ago, had one of these show cats. And it wouldn't stay, she'd go home after shows and it would get out and go up to the neighbor's house and it wouldn't come home. She'd have to take it back to her. Well, she took the lady to court because when the cat was there, she'd beat it because it wouldn't leave. And she went to court over that and a judge told her, legally, on the books, you cannot own a cat. They don't need us for anything. They can eat and drink and tend to their own lives without us around.
As long as they're spayed and neutered.
That's what I mean.
And that's
A
true.
cat is a self-owned person.
Well, and the unneutered males, they fight, they get abscesses,
Oh,
they
yes.
get feline AIDS. There's so many diseases that we
Yes.
can have issues with, so why not limit the problems, limit the population, keep everybody healthy the best we possibly can.
That's why we lost that ugly cat, because he got in a cat fight.
Oh,
And he got,
I'm
Pretty
sorry.
badly.
You bring up an interesting point about ownership. In the state of Missouri, the statute's very clear. If you harbor an animal for 3 or more days, which means provide food, water, a shelter, you are considered the rightful owner of that animal.
oh, you're kidding.
Really?
That's state law.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. We, in animal control business, allow a lot longer than that because we found that a lot of people are trying to really help find the homeowners or
Yes.
the home, for instance, they
Yes.
get on their social media and they take a little bit of time. So we allow time for that. Technically, we don't have to because of the way the statute's written,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. I mean, if you harbor an animal for 3 or more days, includes feed, water, or provide shelter, you are the rightful owner by law of that animal. So,
So you got one whether you want it or not.
So running them male cats, my
we don't
cat will
want to,
still
we
run
don't want to
with the
give people
males and
that
she's
burden,
spayed.
but it's
Right.
good that they know what the law is.
Exactly.
We're going to
Can you
help,
explain
so.
that?
If she's been outdoors her whole life, that she's used to being more active, it's
Yeah,
not.
but Sheila, the males come around to her and everything, but of course she has no kittens.
Well, they're not gonna actually, they might be interested in her till they realize that she's not gonna be receptive.
She won't be receptive then,
No.
because she's wanting to get out there.
She's maybe wanting to socialize, but she's not
Yeah.
wanting more than that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's not
yeah.
wanting a boyfriend.
Nope, she's not wanting a boyfriend, and she's not gonna be receptive to that whatsoever.
But I knew she wouldn't,
Like,
you know,
go
I know
away.
she's fit, so.
Leave me alone.
Or hi-bye.
Well, I'm on
Okay.
call, so I'm gonna have to probably.
Okay, we will
Yes.
close the
Ourselves.
show then,
I
and we
think it's
thank you
been-
all three for coming.
Thanks
And it was
very
a
much.
very
Thank you.
interesting evening. I
Thanks for having
learned
us.
that dogs and cats get cancer.
I learned a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
things.
Because
I
they're
didn't
not
know.
neutered.
There's a lot
And
to
I did
know.
not know that.
Yeah.
Really?
They-
I knew they got cancer because ours did, but I did not know that that was a
Yeah, my
contributing
daughter's
factor
dog
to
died.
it.
Well,
Neuter
in
and
intact male
spayed.
dogs, when they get older, they can have testosterone associated tumors around their hind end, like around their rectum, or they can get testicular tumors as well. So if they're neutered and there's no testosterone,
And they're just
Okay.
as much fun and loving.
Yes.
that's right. I think male dogs are much nicer when they're neutered. That's
I
just
think so
personal
too,
opinion.
yes.
They're not, yeah, they're nicer.
And
I just want to
really-
touch on that real quick from a real life experience. A very close friend of mine who I went to school with for many years had a beagle. Never had it neutered. Developed cancer in his private parts.
Oh.
Took it to the vet. When a vet from it's outside St. Jimmy's in Festus. I don't remember the vet's name. I'm not going to talk about the vet. He did
Yeah.
a good job trying to save the dog. When they went into surgery, the dog died because he didn't get it in soon enough. If he would have had it neutered, that dog would have survived. So it's very important. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's more than just population control. It's about the health of the animals.
Health of the
and
animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we all
And they
want.
make better pets.
They do. They do
Yeah.
make better
Yes.
pets.
Oh, yeah, they're wonderful.
Well, you do preventative care for yourself. You can do it for your pet, and it matters.
Yeah.
It matters a lot.
All right, ladies. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
on, you
So
guys.
much.
All of you.
If we can do it again.
Very
sometime.
nice show.
Yes,
And you come back and visit us again.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And
you
I'll
have
bring you some
something-
doggy blankets.
I can see why
Good
you
night,
said
Charlie.
it goes for an hour now. Boy,
You ladies are fun.
Didn't
Say
think we
good
were
night,
gonna get a
Charlie.
talk to you.
Oh, there he's gone.
Anytime you have something